On this market sell-off day, Bob Pisani and Matt Cheslock of Virtu Financial are down at the New York Stock Exchange with the Dow down 530 points. And Bob, here's your spooky stat of the day from Bespoke. The only other times we started the fourth quarter with a two-day 2% plus drop, 1934 and 35, 2008 and 2009.
Oh, that's a fabulous lead-in. I'm not sure two-day declines necessarily mean the rest of the quarter is going to be bad. In fact, if you check that, I'll bet you'll find probably October will do better if we have the two-day declines. But I don't want to argue with the point with you. I think the key here is we're confused about what's going on. Is the consumer slowing down or not? That's the issue. What side of the recession debate are you on will be determined by whether you think the consumer is slowing down or not. There's not a lot of signs of that other than some consumer sentiment numbers a little bit weaker. But we do see some of the big consumer names that have had big run-ups this year, your McDonald's, your Walmarts, they're all a little bit weaker today. I'm not sure how far I'm willing to go with saying the consumer is definitely slowing down right now. And I think that's what the market's confusion is reflecting right now in the way the markets are behaving.
Sure. Matt, earlier we heard people not just talking about the weak data, some of the fundamentals. Obviously, the overseas markets are pretty poor. Cashin was saying, look, the Dow broke below 26,100. I mean, what are some of the levels and kind of flows and signs that you guys are watching to get a sense of what's going on down there?
Well, as usual, Arthur's probably right. You know, you see some of these huge psychological numbers. 26,000 in the Dow is going to be a big number. 2,900 in the S&P was a big number. Once it broke through, we see some follow through to the downside. As Bob was mentioning, the consumer really is it a one-time event? Is this a one number? Are we going to see that tick up again? Are we going to see revisions to the numbers that we saw yesterday in the ISM number that caught everyone by surprise? So that's what we're going to be looking at more than maybe some technical moves. We're going to look to see what does the data say and what does the Fed respond with to this data.
And what Matt are people saying down there, both about the Fed and about politics and the extent to which all of this news flow and speculation about who the Democratic frontrunner will be? Now, is it Elizabeth Warren? How does that all play in here today, do you think?
Well, you know, obviously that's a major talking point almost every single day until we get some clarity. You know, we saw Bernie Sanders have some medical issues. What does that mean? Does that mean that some of his constituents are going to go to Elizabeth Warren? That may be the case. We have to wait and see how this impeachment proceedings play out. That's going to be a focal point. Someone's going to take the lead on this if it in fact does happen, and someone's going to benefit from it. But right now, there's just really no clarity on that either. And as Bob mentioned, without clarity, this market is going to find a direction. Right now, that direction's lower, not on a lot of volume, mind you, and you're starting to see some classic cases of, gold rallying, treasuries rallying. These are some safety type plays in this environment as we start the fourth quarter.
And Matt, what do you make of a market where the market leaders this year are utilities and semiconductors, completely different sectors, one a defensive, one a very aggressive growth sector. What is an investor to make of that? I'd say confusion right now. They're not quite sure what's going on. So obviously, we need to clear that up. And part of the problem is the market is expensive. So you can say, let's be defensive and we'll go into consumer staples. But we've been doing that all year. So Pepsi and Coke and Kimberly-Clark and all of those are been bid up pretty heavily in the last couple of months. And so there's not a lot of room there to say, let's rotate into the defensive unless you're going to pay extremely high prices for these stocks.
Last word, Mr. Cheslock?
No, I mean, last week we had some conflicting. We had Nike, we had Micron. So that goes to Bob's point, about the semis on the Micron side. They sold off, and we had the consumer goods company like Nike rally so sharply. So we are confused right now. Easy trade right now is to sell off a little bit, lock in some profits toward the end of the year.
All right, gentlemen, thanks. Appreciate it, guys, very much. Matt Cheslock of Virtu Financial and our own Bob Pisani.